This is Valerie, and this is Serena. And I'm going to give you 5 easy tips on how I fully potty trained these puppies in 2 weeks. Tip number 1, use a puppy pen and a crate. You'll find that when you use a puppy pen, that the puppy does not look at it as punishment. They actually look at it as their own place. You're going to make it comfy for them. You're going to give them lots of things to chew on and lots of toys. I like to put a crate in there where they can take a nap. It's nice and soft. So is probably my number 1 suggestion for new puppy owners. It's going to set your puppy up for success. Anytime that you cannot keep both eyes on that puppy, like you're cooking supper, you're doing laundry, you're working on your computer, then the puppy needs to be in the puppy pen. What happens when you don't put your puppy in the puppy pen is that the puppy will wander off, get into something they should not be into, like they might be chewing up something, or they might be peeing or pooping in a corner and you not find it for a while. So anytime you cannot be actively watching that puppy, that's when they go in the puppy pen. Now I use a crate at night with my puppies, and I put that beside my bed. I've got videos on how to set that puppy pen and crate up, and I'll put those in the description below. So your puppy pen and your crate are going to be your safety net. They are going to actually be your lifesaver when you need a break or can't watch your puppy without 100% focus. It's about supervision. It's not about detention. And those 2 items are my number 1 recommended must-haves. I knew that raising 2 puppies at one time was going to be very, very difficult. And that leads me to my next tip. I created a schedule and stuck with it. From day 1, I started using the potty rule, which says that a puppy can hold their bladder and their bowels for about 1 hour for each month of age. Now, when I got these girls, they were 8 weeks old. So in theory, they should have been able to hold it for about 2 hours. I never let them go over 2 hours without taking them out during the day. Now, there are other times when your puppy may need to go out too, like after waking up, after eating, after playing. Those are all times that you're just going to automatically take that puppy out, whether it fits in that 2-hour rule or not. And then you want to watch for signals that they need to go out, like whining, barking. A lot of times that's how they're going to tell you, I need to go out. Watch for them circling around. Watch for them sniffing the ground. And watch for them squatting. Anytime you see one of those things, you know it's time to get them out. You also want to learn their schedule. Each puppy is going to have its own schedule. For example, Valerie needed to pee twice in the morning and poop twice in the morning when we first went out. Serena, on the other hand, only needed to pee and poop once. So every puppy is different. And we did have accidents. There were times I wasn't fast enough. Like one of them would whine, I wasn't fast enough to get them picked up and taken them to their potty place, and we had an accident. And then Valerie, I remember twice, she would go out and she would pee, and she would only poop once because it took her a little bit of time to poop the second time. And I brought her in, and guess what? We had an accident. That's on me, not on the puppy. Now, night rules are a little bit different. Their body functions are going to slow down when they sleep, just like people, and they won't have to go out to the bathroom near as often. I like to put them in a crate at night beside my bed so I can listen, and if they whine or bark, I know they need to go to the bathroom. I find that most puppies are going to need to go out to the bathroom about 1 to 2 times during the night for that first week to week and a half. Serena, after the first week, she was fully done. She was trained and she didn't have to go out at night anymore. But Valerie was a different story. Valerie took her about until a week and a half to almost 2 weeks before she could sleep all night long without having to go back. So crates are also going to help by teaching them to hold it a little bit longer. And like I said, I've got a video in the description below that'll help you set up that crate. So the schedule helped prevent accidents and gave me some control back over these little puppies' tiny little bladders. Now, when I talk about taking them out, I took them to a designated potty area. I didn't just let them go in the yard. I taught them where the bathroom was, and I took them to that specific place. Now remember, until your puppy is fully vaccinated, which is normally around 16 weeks old, they cannot go to common areas where other dogs have been that you don't know or don't know who have been vaccinated. If you have another dog and it's fully vaccinated, your puppy is fine with being around it and places where it's gone to the bathroom. The problem comes in when we're talking about we don't know what dogs have been in that area and if they are fully vaccinated. Because the last thing we want your puppy to get is parvo or distemper, which are both deadly. So if you have a fenced-in private backyard, then pick a place where you want your puppy to go. There's a couple things that you want to think about here. One is the texture. Puppies raised in concrete pens will often just want to go to the bathroom on hard surfaces like sidewalks or patios. So think about that one. You probably want your puppy to go on grass. So take your puppy to a grassy area in your yard because texture will make a difference. Another thing that makes a difference is the smell. That grassy, earthy smell helps those puppies know that's a place for them to go to the bathroom. I litter box train all my puppies before they leave here with using alfalfa pellets. And I always send some home to new owners and tell them to sprinkle those pellets wherever they want their puppy to go, because that scent is also a big attractant. That's a problem. If your puppy has an accident and you don't fully get it cleaned up, your puppy will want to go back to that same place. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Now, if you live in an apartment or you don't have a private fenced backyard, then you're going to need to create a potty spot inside your house or on your balcony if you have one of those. So what you're going to do is you're going to take some panels and you're going to create a small pen. If your floor needs to be protected, you can go to Home Depot or Lowe's and you can buy a small piece of linoleum that you would put down on the floor that your pen would set on. Then I like to lay several washable pee pads down, and I want to completely cover that area where the pen is, because you'll often see little puppies get their front feet in the litter box, but they don't completely get their body in, and we don't want pee or poop on your floor. Then I add the potty pan. Now I usually use a rabbit tray. I've used 30 by 30 inch and 24 by 24 inch. It just depends upon you, how much space you have, and the size of your puppy. And by the way, I'll link all these items that I'm talking about in the description below. Then you're going to add your litter. They actually make a paper litter, but it's pretty gummy and sticky, and it doesn't have that scent which puppies are attracted to. I like to use alfalfa pellets because that's what I train my puppies with here. Now you might also look into using a real grass pad, and they have artificial grass systems too. I'll put some links in the description of those. I know I've had clients who have used those in the past with success, but you probably want to read the reviews before getting those. If you have a balcony, you want to be sure to line that balcony with fencing material or panels so that your puppy cannot get out of the balcony or underneath something. And then you can set your potty area out there. So the key here is, you know, think about that potty area, get that planned out before your puppy ever arrives. Then that you'll be ready to go and can take that puppy right to its potty area. So the next thing is you need to know exactly what to do on these trips to the potty area. First of all, you're going to pick that puppy up, and then you're either going to attach a leash to their collar, or you can do what I like to do, which is slip them in a little harness that has a leash attached to it. I love these little harnesses because they're cheap. I get them on Amazon, and they're super easy to get a puppy in and out of. You just simply stick their little front feet through the toe holes, Velcro it together, and snap it. Now, why would you want to use a harness now? It's twofold. If you have your puppy on a harness and leash, they can't wander off and get distracted. So when you take them out and give them the potty command, then they know it's time to go potty, not to go play. Second of all, it gets their bodies used to the pressure of the harness. And if you're going to take your puppy or dog on a walk later on and they're going to be wearing a harness, then they'll already be used to that harness. So you're going to take your puppy out to its potty place and set them down. And then you're going to give them a command like go potty. Once they go potty, you're going to give them a verbal reward like, yes, good girl, something like that. And you can also give them like a low value treat, like a piece of kibble at that time. But I'm going to warn you, I would probably wait until after they've both peed and pooped, because it's kind of a distraction in the middle. They're normally going to pee first. And then if you reward them with a piece of kibble, then they probably could get distracted, and then they won't finish their business and poop. And then, you're looking at probably an accident inside. So wait till they're through with both of that. So what happens if you catch them in the middle of the act having an accident inside? You simply just pick them up and get them to their potty area as soon as you can. No yelling, no punishment, just interrupt them and immediately go outside. The accidents that we had were more my fault than the puppy's fault. So the most important lesson here is to never punish for an accident. Punishment will cause a puppy to just try to hide and not hold it. So focus on rewarding when they make the right choice. And if a puppy has an accident, it's more than likely our fault as an owner, not the puppy's fault. We probably just didn't pick up on something fast enough. And that takes us to tip number 5. Have realistic expectations. It took us about a week and a half until we were 90% reliable, not 3 days. So there's going to be setbacks. It's normal, but just stick to your schedule and your plan. They'll eventually get it and it'll be fine. Accidents are going to happen. That's part of it. You wouldn't expect a human toddler to be fully potty trained by the time they start crawling around. And you shouldn't expect your puppy to be fully potty trained either. When accidents do occur, you need to make sure you clean them up properly. Using a regular cleaner will clean up the mess, but it doesn't get rid of the smell. And dogs are attracted back to that smell, and they'll go to the bathroom there again if you don't get it cleaned up properly. So you want to use an enzymatic cleaner. If they have a accident in their puppy pen, or they have an accident, in their crate or wherever, you want to clean it up according to the directions on the enzymatic cleaner. You normally spray it on, let it sit for a while, and then wipe it up and maybe wash it down. That way you'll get rid of all the smell and they won't be attracted back to that area to go to the bathroom again. So like I said, be realistic and be patient. You're going to have accidents are going to happen. In the first couple days that I had the girls with me, we had accidents in our pens. We had accidents in our crates. And Valerie here had an accident in her crate in her puppy pen. And I cleaned it up, but she still wanted to go back in there and use the bathroom again. So eventually I had to just close off her crate for a few days in her puppy pen because she just wanted to go back and use that as a bathroom again. Just remember, potty training is a journey. It's not a sprint. They'll get there eventually. You may get it trained in 2 weeks. It might take 3 weeks. But if you stick with a schedule, you use puppy pens and crates, you watch for signals, and you're consistent, you will eventually get there. I hope this video is helpful in helping you potty train your puppy easily and rapidly. I would love to know what your biggest potty training challenge is. So please tell me in the comments below. And we'll see you in the next one.